All right, it's another very beautiful Thursday morning, and I believe very strongly that every one of us, we woke up quite well and up and running, up and doing. Welcome once again to Cool TV, Channel 196 and Star Times. This is Crossfire. And I just quickly want to say that we have a package for you today, the type that you really, really love to be a part of. And then, don't you know that you're a part of Crossfire directly from wherever you're watching us from? You can always participate by just calling into the show and letting us know exactly what your position in any of the matters that we raise from the studio. Like I said, I'm not alone here. Yemi is with me, and we definitely will be running the show together. Yemi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dapo.
All right, good to be back in the studio. Now, we have these two gentlemen who are joining us in the studio, and we definitely will be doing business with them this morning. Let's quickly meet this gentleman. Before we connected and we started to do business together, like bringing him to the studio to just help come and throw some more light on some political issues. I mean, it was somebody I just sit back, at home and I watch do his own thing. He is no other person but the former chairman and ward of local government. Let's welcome Comrade Ayodele Adewale.
Thank you for
Good morning. Good to have you on the show. Now, we have another public affair analyst, a gentleman. He's been here before, and I'm very sure he's someone that you enjoyed the last time we brought him to the studio. Let's welcome DECLAN. IHEKAIRE.
Yeah, good morning.
Now, Declan, good to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure.
And now, gentlemen, our polity called Nigeria is heated up, and there are so many issues. But we'll take it step by step, and we have some stories that we quickly will take, and definitely we'll be doing it with you. Very controversially, something happened again yesterday, and that was, the president, appointing another person, to head INEC. And so, there have been a lot of agitations and, confusion all over the places. And that's, I don't know, is it that people think that Professor MAHMOOD YAKUBU cannot do the work? Or people are just in solidarity, let me put it that way, with Amina Zakari, who has been acting, since June. And then a lot of things, are beginning to take shape. Peradventure, the president even unseated her because of the close relationship, supposedly, that they're in-laws. And probably that's why the president just felt, okay, let me not continue to eat up the polity from this angle. Let's just try and douse the tension down. And eventually, Professor MAHMOOD was brought on board. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed Professor MAHMOOD YAKUBU as the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, Professor YAKUBU is taking over from the acting chairman of the commission. That's Amina Zakari. Now, was the former executive secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. The president also appointed other 5 national commissioners, including Mrs. Zakari herself. Now, the appointment followed an approval by the National Council of State, which had an emergency meeting, being the first, under President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, a very quick one, so that I don't lose, the line of my thoughts on this matter. Now, let's look at it very well. What ushered in the former chairman of INEC, that Professor Atahiru Jega, it was for an intervention when there were issues at the INEC. And then he stepped in because he was not particularly part of the system, but he was brought in from outside to head INEC. And we had a fantastic time with Jega. It wasn't that he was eat-free, as it were, running INEC for the period of time that they ran it. But truth have it that, in spite and despite all the small itches here and there, Atahiru Jega is being celebrated today as one of the best, that we ever had, sitting on top of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, my first question, gentlemen, would be that we are ushering in another gentleman who is a professor. He was the very first person who had a first class in history as a northerner in the history of this country. Now, as a matter of fact, aside from the pedigree of Professor YAKUBU, is it proper that we begin to import, let me put it that way, import people to help come and stabilize or probably organize and champion the cause of INEC? Because that was what happened to Atahiru Jega. Now we have Professor MAHMOOD YAKUBU coming in again, even though we have someone, don't forget that we had two people, that came into the platform. This gentleman, I've forgotten his name. The person Atairu Jega handed over to before the president announced Mrs. Zachary to take over from him. So it simply means we have a level of assurance that we have credible people within the system, within INEC itself. And so now, bringing in or importing Professor Mahmood Yakub, is it a good step in the right direction for INEC at this point in time? Comrade.
Well, thank you once again for having me. I would not understand, I do not understand what you mean by importing.
Okay.
From what I've seen so far, there's a procedure of appointing anybody to head whatever portfolio at INEC. And what we should look at is that did the president violate these procedures? If not, there is an order. Secondly is that the president met a system on ground. The Goodluck Jonathan administration appointed the previous leadership of INEC. And when Professor Jega was going, from my understanding of governance, he does not have the legitimate right to appoint who will succeed him.
No, but he did not appoint. He handed over. I think it's a civil service regulation or process to hand over to someone when you're leaving the office.
Yes.
And that was all he did.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Somebody appointed him. Your establishment, you have a CEO. Peradventure, you're moving up for greener pasture, and you want to leave, you have to, of course, inform. They know that your term is over. So while they were preparing to fill in the vacuum, and remember that then the president had just come into office. There was a lot on his table. The issue of insurgency is most paramount. Okay. You understand, to him. Then we have the issue. We had the issue of epileptic field supply within the Nigerian society. So these were confronting issues that he felt that are most germane. Before his attention was called that, look, the guy is leaving, and of course he has to consult. He can't just speak on anybody. He has to consult the people that actually controls that particular system. So in the process of consultation, Jega time had run out.
Yes.
Automatically, the guy did the right thing. He cannot stay beyond that, and he cannot leave the place in vacuum. He handed over to the next person. Then the helmsman now comes and said, okay, we have all agreed, after consultation, let this lady continue. He had not fouled the system. Now, in appointing the next person that had been appointed, and also remember that the National Executive Council took a position yesterday that never again are they going to allow such a vacuum be created where you are going to have just two persons staying behind, and you have this mass, how will I put it now, mass moving out of INEC electoral officers and all of that. So they had to amend all of those things so that it becomes a systemic thing. People don't go out in droves. It has to be one after the other. Now, the next man that have been appointed, of course, there have been consultation from the Federal Council and all of that. The next thing is for the National Assembly to also do their regular thing.
Now, Comrade DECLAN, my understanding of the civil, I've been in that environment, even though I didn't stay long there, maybe about 2 or 2.5 years. And I know that they have civil service processes, procedures, standard way of doing things and all of that. And my belief would be that when I'm leaving an office, either that I resign or my time is up, as an appointment, as a public officer, I need to hand over to the most senior person, probably, the most senior within the organization or the institution, or to me, to stand in or fill in the gap while I step aside. And I think very seriously that was what Professor Atairu Jega did. Now, if really and truly, because we had an issue before Zachary was eventually announced, we had an issue, Atairu Jega probably handed over to the most senior INEC officer, or the most qualified to take over from him, or to act in his capacity since he's stepping aside.
You should have informed them.
Yeah, but he informed former President Goodluck Jonathan. We have it in record
Jonathan was not the president at then.
No, Jonathan was the person he wrote to that by June the 15th, he will be leaving.
Now, if he had written,
yes, His time was up by June the 15th.
Even if Jonathan had left a day before Atahiru Jega left, what common sense will say is that there's a new man there. I have to do a re-notification to do it officially to the new man, like a reminder. I am leaving.
Okay.
I would be handing over to the next person, except Your Excellency decide to do otherwise. You inform him, you prepare him.
Okay.
You don't just leave in a, just create a
okay,
vacuum.
let's look at, yeah.
You see, in that, when Atahiru Jega, Professor Atahiru Jega already did the right thing by informing the former President Goodluck Jonathan. It was former President Goodluck Jonathan that had to inform the next president, the incoming
But
president.
remember that
it wasn't the responsibility.
Remember, it is.
I mean,
It is.
boss.
Hold on, sir. It is. The office is a very sensitive office.
No, but it was,
it's a very
the President Buhari. It
doesn't matter.
His boss was President.
No.
In
governance, it is a continuous.
We know.
It simply means President Muhammadu Buhari, in his own capacity as the president, as the sworn-in president as at that time, appointed the wrong person.
No.
I mean, Mrs. Zakari has been proved to be, Buhari was meant, I read the report, he lived in the house because Mrs. Zakari's father married President Muhammad Buhari's elder sister, and he grew up under them. He lived with them. It has been established that they are actually in-laws. Hold on. So the appointment of Mrs. Zakari was even wrong in the first instance by President Muhammad Buhari. Okay, why did they change her? She's been part of the system. Declan, you need to come in here. Because you've been quiet on the show. Now, the point here is that she has been there and she has acted for 5 months. Now, my challenge is that you eventually want to do the right thing. If the president did the right thing in the first instance, would you have to bring Professor Mahmood on board to come and head INEC? If really and truly Mrs. Zakari
You are missing it again.
No, I am not.
You are missing it again.
Okay, let's hear from
She has a time bound, and her time is almost over too.
In the acting capacity.
No, even beyond that. She's about retiring.
See, I think I just need to come in.
Okay.
We should try and get things right. Professor Mahmood Yakubu is on board now as the INEC chairman.
Yes.
No doubt Zakari was there. And I'm happy that we also have a president that listens to the yearnings
to the masses
and the complaints of the masses. You see, when Zakari came in, either by seniority or by appointment or by standing in for a period of time, there were lots of shout out there, mostly from the opposition, that she is related to Mr. President and they've lost confidence in her and that there's nothing good that can come out from her. And having a president that I strongly believe that has a listening ear, has to do what is
right.
morally right, so that there won't be this link of fraternity, between him and Mrs. Zakari. And I suppose that was why the professor from TED has to be brought into the system now. And just to collaborate with what my colleague said here, the most important thing is the person there now competent? Is it constitutionally right for Mr. President to have, put him there? Whether it's imported or exported or anyhow you put it, what we are saying is that what Mr. President has done is good and right. And I also want
what makes it right? That's the question. What makes it right?
What makes it right?
Is INEC a government institution? Even though independent, which gives them, the leeway to be able to take decisions and do the things that they have to do.
Yeah.
Now, the people who are working there, are they civil servants?
Yeah.
All right. If that has been established, it simply means they should bring out the next head of that ministry or institution to lead that organization, not bringing somebody who has not been part of this system.
The man heading customs now, Was he part of custom service?
No.
Fine, but he was brought in
By
to
the
to sanitize. So if I have a president that has vowed that he wants to sanitize this nation, I don't care where he brings anybody from. All I want is perfection in the system.
So even when the rule of law, even when, the rule of law is being circumvented.
No.
Let me bring your no to a certain document in governance.
Okay.
It's called an administrative guideline.
Okay.
Now, in that guideline, it has the functions, it states the functions of every officer and the way things are to be done.
To be done, yeah.
You understand? Whatever the president had done or is doing is in conformity with the guidelines that operates his office.
Okay.
It is only when he moves out of that guideline that you can hold him responsible. As far as what he has done, he has worked within the framework of the administrative guideline that the Constitution has provided for his office.
Another point to raise is that if President Buhari had not made this appointment, it will have been, if we had allowed Saraki to continue, it will have.
Then he'll be following the law.
Apart from that, it will have give everybody a wrong impression of the president. Because the legitimate.
So what the president is trying to do is to cover up for.
No.
Because of the relationship with the president. People will believe that, personally, that's my opinion, I believe that there's no election that this woman can supervise that will be credible. Even if it's credible, people will question it. Nobody will have confidence in INEC.
Sir.
So what the president has done
in Africa, you must remember, in Africa, you must remember that we live a communal system.
Yes.
Now, if you and I mean, if people look at both of us from a distance, they can conclude that we are brothers. We virtually have almost the same nose bridge and structural look, apart from your long beard.
No, it's not
Now,
bad.
I'm coming. Now, if we go deep into our bloodline,
Yeah.
perhaps
There could
at
even
the
be a
fifth
link.
generation,
Yes,
there can be
maybe
a
there's even a
link.
link,
But
yeah.
does that mean that when you see something that is wrong in whatever, God forbid, I do, does that prevent you from using your platform to tell the world that this person has done wrong?
Anyway. I don't know how to. I don't want to give. I choose to not to give a response to. To that question.
I just want us to get something clear. What would have happened if Zakari was married to President Buhari, and she eventually becomes the acting chairman of INEC, and by virtue of the fact that she was the next person to Attai Jega?
Yes.
Will you have said that something was wrong with Mr. President doing the right thing by accepting what has been set in place?
I think everything is wrong with it if it's by appointment. If it's by appointment, everything is wrong with it.
If
it's by election,
if there's no law, if there's no law that makes it wrong, then it is not wrong.
No. Not everything is wrong.
Even if they are families.
Some things are morally wrong. It may not be in the law, but you know that this thing is wrong.
Morally wrong if the person violates.
Does that mean we can have? Does it justify the fact that at a point in time we can actually have a president, and then we have a vice president in his younger brother?
It happened in Poland.
It's happened.
It happened in Poland.
Yes.
They were twins. One died from a plane crash. They were twins. One was president, the other was prime minister.
So
twins in Poland.
Anyway, maybe it won't happen in Nigeria.
And the Polish economy worked very well under them.
All right.
If the constitution so permits,
yes.
If the constitution so permits, fine.
Yes.
I know there are some workplaces that husband and wife cannot work together.
Yes.
But I also know there are some workplaces in this country today.
You must not be in the same department.
I'm coming. I've seen a police officer, two police officers, husband and wife. Okay?
Within a system.
I'm coming. The wife is a CSP, while the husband is a sergeant, and they are in police force. Okay? And they maintain the rules guiding the profession. So if they had not violated the rules guiding the profession, then there's nothing wrong
There's
in
no
that.
problem.
And I've not seen what Mr. President has done.
Mr. President
All
has
right,
been wrong.
we need to quickly go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll be talking about what is right or what is wrong about the National Assembly members in solidarity with the Senate President, because the plenary session was actually, shifted till today because the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, will be appearing at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. We'll be talking about this when we come back from this break. Let's go now.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.